Hello. Hello there.
You feel okay there?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're good.
Excellent.
Just clearing the throat, making sure, you know, I'm ready to go.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Just making, nope, that's not it. I almost got the podcast excited. I almost clicked on the guest scene. That would have been bad.
Oh.
We do not have a guest, guys. I'm sorry. Eventually, someday we will. I promise.
One day.
Someday we'll just be so popular.
You can count me every night. Oh, Nightbot is already freaking going after people. Look at this.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I mean,
Now, Floobs, you have to ask yourself, what could you have done to prevented this situation? Just kidding.
Oh, don't worry. Tabasco will be in there in a hot second and have that sucker.
Yeah, Tabasco will take care of it. I need to turn you up. Keep talking for me, Verge.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. All right, just unfollow. Damn, hurtful.
Wow.
Hurtful.
Wow. Well, I'm following Nightbot. We didn't do it. It's
Yeah.
Nightbot's fault.
Yeah. What the hell, man? I didn't do shit.
Don't support Nightbot. Use Moobot. Anybody remember Moobot?
Yes.
Moobot used anymore?
Oh, hey, look who it is. Beth, thank you for the follow.
Hey, Beth?
The Bethinator is here, showing her love. Hey, we did have an off stream follow, Call of Sandy. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's pretty big in the Greenwall family. So I appreciate the follow there.
Well, hello, Ace.
Came here to say hi to Virgin, that other guy. Yeah, I know.
Wow. A
It
lot
hurts.
of Twitter attacks you. Ace comes in.
Man, just everybody.
Wow.
Anyways, hello guys. Nice, Floobs. Yeah, she was giving out
That's
a lot of
awesome.
follows today, so that's awesome. Anyways, hello everybody. As you can see, thanks to my wonderful co-host over here, we finally updated the logo since we are officially the Aspire podcast. So yeah, it's official, guys. Duke is making an appearance. I don't know what he's doing back here, but He's doing something.
Yeah, I like it. It looks good.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Verge did a fantastic job.
Now, do you want
Of
to tell them
combining the two.
how many it takes and how many?
Yeah,
color
so
you had
this
to
is
correct me
actually
on?
I do so for my job when I write up, scopes of work, I do, every time a revision gets made, it's a different version, right? So this is like, I don't know, this is probably version like 5 or 6 right here, guys.
Yeah, probably.
You just look, it's hard. We have to remember it's hard for Verge because he is colorblind. Okay, so the colors don't always turn out the way he thinks or he sees them as. He sent me something today and thought it was yellow. I think you were going for yellow, weren't you?
Like a little bit of like a yellow,
Like a yellow,
lighter, dimmer yellow. Yeah.
It was
What color was it?
It was fucking teal. So that just tells you the level of color blindness that Verge has to deal with. Oh man, it was good. It makes for a good laugh every time.
It does. I mean, after you send the first one with the ring around it, you're like, yeah, maybe combine the blues. I was like, okay, I'm not on it. And then I sent you that one, and you're like, yeah, what's with the green? I'm like,
Green?
What green? There's not green in there. It's supposed to be yellow. It's supposed to be like a little highlight, give it a little bit of pop back behind it. You're like, no, bro, it's green.
It's
And I'm
green,
like,
bro.
yeah,
It's green.
that's about
Oh,
par
man.
for the course right there on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
So-
that's okay though. That's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Look,
It's
it
good.
was-
Listen, I'm accepting of it. It's good. I'm
yeah,
fine.
no, I mean, like I said earlier, when we were talking before the podcast, I love you in spite of all your flaws. I just flung coffee at myself, so that's cool.
Nice.
Luckily, none of it got on the white fucking hoodie because that would have been bad.
It's the worst. Like when you have a nice white clean shirt.
This is, and that's the thing. Like I love this hoodie because this is probably the most comfy one I've bought this year, and it sucks because I don't wear it all the time because I'm like, dude, if I get one little thing, I'm gonna end up buying another one. And these hoodies ain't cheap. I know Basky bought one. These optic hoodies, not cheap.
No, you don't
So,
want to do that.
I don't.
Hey, how's chat doing tonight?
Yeah.
That's let's ask you. How are you guys doing? How was your week, guys?
I hope it
Don't
was awful.
Week at once.
I mean,
you
good.
know? Unbelievable.
Yeah, so it was a good weekend for me. Good weekend for us. I know Verge had a lot of fun.
What did you do? I had fun. I had fun on Saturday. Yes, Saturday was fun.
Honestly, I didn't do a lot. I did very minimal gaming. Like I said, I had that shot, so I had that second dose on Friday of the Pfizer. I felt fine. It definitely made me tired, if anything. Like it just made me really tired. So I didn't do a lot this weekend because of that. Like even streaming was, kind of kept it at a minimum. Didn't really go too crazy because I felt groggy all weekend. The weather didn't help either because it's been shit weather here.
Has
Like
it?
yeah, it's supposed to be all week, which really sucks. So, but it was good,
Yeah.
man. Like I said, I felt groggy. I never felt sick though. Like I never,
You didn't have the bad
right.
symptoms.
I didn't have the bad symptoms, so I didn't feel like I actually was getting sick. I just felt like, okay, I'm fucking tired. Like I need to sleep. So
Yeah.
so that was good. But other than that, nothing, like I said, I didn't feel any other symptoms. I just felt tired.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I got my first one today, so we're
Still-
seeing how
still
it plays.
feeling-
So.
still feeling pretty normal right now.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job. They watched over you for a certain amount of time afterwards. I was fine, and
Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, like maybe a little tired. But I mean, it's the end of the day. It's a Monday. I've been busy all day. So is it that, or is it
Right.
just being tired from work and stuff? Like I'm not like whatever. Yeah, I'm fine.
Mine was
Like,
definitely like the shot. I remember it because it was Friday night when it hit me, and I was just like,
yeah. Usually you have that energy.
I need to go to
like
bed.
usually on a
Yeah.
Monday night, like I can tell I'm a little fatigued, but like I
Right,
said,
exactly, yeah.
I've had a busy day, today. So
right,
not banking on that it's a certain thing that's
right.
shot.
No, I
arms
get
a
that.
little like flu shotty-ish, but
See the first one didn't really hurt my arm at all. The second one, oh man, My arm was sore after the second one.
Yeah, they say the second one it's a larger
Yeah,
amount,
it's a larger
so,
dose and everything.
so your body's gonna be affected by it. But yeah, no, I'm feeling good. Looking forward to seeing what it's like. All the restrictions are starting to let up a little bit. You know, people just have to play it smart though. But definitely looking forward to getting out and doing things. You can definitely tell out and about that people are, you know, chomping at the bit, because I think I was telling you the other day I was at the food store or something like that, and it was like panda freaking monia. It was like, you know, people didn't give a shit if they were 6 inches away from you, 6 feet away from you. They were getting the job done, and it was like, all right, you know, still, you know, did we learn a lesson? Like, let's just be smart about things. Like, you know,
hell no.
Don't worry, you're gonna get the milk. It'll be there, you know. So, but nah, that's it. Just
it's just like yeah, I was talking to my coworkers today about how
food store. Yeah.
About how they, you know, started restricting or lifting the restrictions of, like, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to really wear a mask in public anymore. And I'm like, fuck, we like our like political system is just full on fucking stupid. Because basically what they just said was, hey, anti-maskers, you've got free reign to not have to wear a mask anymore. Because are you gonna prove that someone's vaccinated or not? The card? Hey, guess what? You know it's super easy to forge.
Yeah.
Because nobody signs it. There's no like stamp or anything that they put on it. They just write, hey, you received this dose on that day. I just randomly happened to have a pen, so that kind of worked out for the bit there.
It did.
So, you know, it's like, yeah. You know, so like that's all they do. They write out like, hey, you got Pfizer or Moderna or Johnson & Johnson on this day, and then they initial next to it.
Yep. Well, it's just,
you know,
it goes back to the human aspect of, are you responsible and are you serious and truthful about it? If not, then that's your decision. Then have at it. But like, you know, whatever.
Like I have to wait 2 weeks for it to fully kick in. So I will continue to wear a mask until then. But even after that, I'll probably still continue to wear a mask in public.
Yeah.
Until I am told that like we're good. Like
very clear.
There's you know, like I was all prepared to look like, you know, Asia there, or what is it, China, that in Japan, like 90% of their population wears masks all the time, literally 24/7, unless they're in their own home. If they're outside of their own home, they wear masks. So
exactly, just don't be a dick about things. Yeah, you have the freedom to do it, but again, like it's just learning. Yeah, it's just learning and how you whatever.
It's the world we live in today.
It is the
utter
world
chaos
we live in today.
Hey, that'll probably count as tangent one, Basky. Fuck us, right?
That's just that's our opening intro.
No. Normally it's Normally it's just we say what we did for the weekend and we move on. So
okay, well we'll add it to the list. So one so far. Okay, excellent.
We went on a tangent about how people are dicks, basically. Anyways, so yep.
What do you want to start with first?
I say we talk about the big here. I think the first thing we cover tonight is CDL. I think that's going to be probably a majority of tonight. We talk about the CDL because not only did we have major stage 3, but I think we're closing in on going back to LAN.
The next event, right?
I believe the next major. I don't know if they're gonna do it for the stages. I don't know, because I thought they said they weren't starting it until June, which was like major 4 is when they're gonna do it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Next major.
Yeah, next major.
LAN
right.
event. Yeah, and then they'll play online.
Yeah, so the actual major, not the stages leading up to it. Those are still going to be online. It's the actual major itself that'll be LAN, and then I think from that point forward they'll stick to LAN.
Really, you think they'll do the stages with?
I feel like you have to, man. Like you're gonna give them. I mean, I don't know, man, because it's just weird to me. Because like I know, like even like before COVID, they practiced all the time, yes, like online, but like like land was still the thing for everything. Like just because you're having a stage doesn't mean you like I would say do land on all this, like doesn't mean you have to like let people in on those, you know, like why not just move everything back to land at that point? That's my personal opinion. Obviously we have no idea what they're gonna do. But
I think just for consistency purposes,
I feel like you have to do land all the
keep
time.
it right. Like you have to keep it land once you go there.
That's
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like I
mean,
know
even if
they practice.
Even if they don't want to crowd, like they have them participate, and it's more competitive in that sense. That you don't have any
land is so much different than fucking
things and everything else that went on. So yeah, I see them getting together for land. I think the only thing you will see spectators at on a limited basis is a major. I don't think they would do right now like all the. It's just a thought. Majors have people.
I don't even know if majors are gonna have people right now. I really don't.
I thought they said they're gonna try for limited capacity. I thought I read.
I don't think no. The last article I read said they're not going to until further noticed or whatever.
Okay, well, hey,
so
listen, as long as we get some land,
Yeah, like even watching land from like from a not being at the event standpoint is still so much better than fucking watching online.
You want to see them like right there together, like.
Well, yeah, and the presentation, like everything. You never have the restarts. Obviously, if you do have restarts, it's for controlled. It's for a legitimate reason. Like, it's not because the fucking server you chose is awful and someone's about to lag out. It's not because Formal's spawning in without a fucking mini map. Like, it's just, although that was the game, so that would be something that would happen at land still, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this weekend, obviously this past weekend, guys, was Major 3, and my god, it was a good one. It was crazy. I think it was the best one that we've seen so far. So
I don't have too much to go on because again, Saturday I was
you were out and about,
and Friday I think I watched just a couple matches, but that was just early on with stuff like that. Obviously, Optic got bounced early, so I was just kind of like out on it. But the play was just phenomenal from what I was reading on Twitter and hearing what everybody said. So what was your take immediately on it?
I think it was good. I think the top 4 teams really obviously kind of made themselves known here. Actually, I would probably say the top 3 teams. I don't really know who the 4 and 5 are at this point. I would say that Optic and Dallas are probably still there at that 4 and 5 spot. If Optic can continue to play the way that they played this weekend, then I would say like that's I think it's safe to say that they're back as a dominant team. But it's that consistency. Like, are we gonna finally get the consistent Optic that we know like we should have been getting all year, or when stage 1 comes around, in a couple weeks, is it going to be back to, okay, well, can these guys actually win a fucking match? So it's kind of there. Like, I would say Optic's out of number 4 right now, honestly, or at number 5 right now.
Where?
Dallas, I don't know if I have Dallas in my top 5, but honestly, I don't know who else to put in there right now. Like, I feel like we still have to give them maybe at least this first stage of the next event. I think we have to at least give them that to see what happens. But yeah, no, they don't even look close to a top 5 team anymore. They absolutely got dominated. But we've seen that from people like Optic too. So I don't know. I don't have anything. I haven't seen enough of a downfall with them. Like, yes, they were getting beat and they were getting beat bad, but but I don't think that's enough to take them out of top 5 right now.
I think so here's the standings right now. You have FaZe at 340 points, New York at 240, Dallas at 230, Ultra 4 with 225, and then Chicago at 200. So you have those, three, Ultra, Dallas, and Optic. Any given way. Again, Toronto still just looks good. I think their run ended, and how many times in sports do you see a team just go out and dominate? I was listening to some of the stats when or reading something somewhere where they were like undefeated in Control or something like that, or Hardpoint, like 10-0 or something like that. It was ridiculous.
They were.
Usually you can fall off of that a little bit.
Right.
You can't just stay up there the whole time.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, Ultra has clearly proven that they are the real deal. I mean, they obviously have. They not only played dominant matches this weekend, but Ultra literally would have been the only one I didn't want to play. Like the way Optic was looking. The way Optic was looking, the only team that I wouldn't have wanted to play was Ultra. I think Optic could have probably beat any other team in that match.
Yeah, you think they could have beat FaZe if FaZe was there?
I think they could have beat FaZe. I think because they like the thing.
New York?
I think they could have beat New York too. Like New York looked really dominant this weekend, but again, I've seen Optic beat them. Like, so I would have had all the confidence in the world in the way that Optic was playing this weekend for them to be able to beat New York. Like,
yeah.
That was the most dominant we've seen Optic all year. So for them to have to play Ultra, like in my mind, that Ultra versus Optic match, that was grand finals. Like I don't think any other match was that good this weekend.
It was a very good match. It was well played.
It was a battle from start to finish. I mean, like the one hard point, like where Optic just absolutely dominated them on Control, but nobody is as good as Optic on Control on Checkmate. Like nobody's as good as on Checkmate with Control as a game mode. Like they showed that. Like that's why when you see the maps being vetoed when people are playing Optic for that Control match, everybody always vetoes Checkmate for Control because nobody wants to play Optic on Control Checkmate because they absolutely dominant, and they showed that. I mean, they started out like 125-0 on that map against fucking Ultra. Like, so it's just I think if it was anybody else, except maybe FaZe, like, but that's the thing. I had FaZe going all the way. I don't think I ever. Well, no, I think I had Toronto beating them.
You had Toronto winning, yeah.
I did.
We'll go into that in a second because you did have some. You had some ones that were on, and then you had some ones that
I had some ones. But that was. I mean, I was happy. Like this weekend was incredible. A lot of good gameplay. A lot of people showing. I mean, London showing that they got some life in them, man.
Was that Saturday when you texted me and I was out? You were like, London just beat them or
they
something?
3-0'd. Who'd they 3-0 on Saturday? Who'd they 3-0 on Saturday? Who was their second match?
Let me go look. I'm looking it up right now. You can keep going. I'm looking it up right now. It was for Saturday, right? Saturday.
Well, just who was their second overall match? It was whoever their second overall match was.
It
was Rocker on Friday.
Yeah,
they 3-0'd Minnesota on Friday. Fucking 3-0'd them. I mean, I know Minnesota hasn't been impressing us lately, but London was still like literally bottom 3 teams for me, and they played really good this weekend for them.
So London, you had them beating the Legion.
Right.
And then you had them losing to Rocker. So that Rocker win, when I heard about that, I was like, holy sh.
Yeah, that was huge. Like that was not expected at all. I mean, like again, I still had London in my bottom 3 until after this weekend. They've moved up because they were bottom 2. Then I had them bottom 3 because LAG just looks like they can't do anything. And then obviously Paris Legion, but like, so they moved up a little bit. But like, I mean, shit, they looked actually very well done. Because I know Minnesota hasn't showed us a lot in the last few weekends, but I don't think they're that bad.
No, they're just off right now. I don't think they had a good stage, and they've had 2 bad stages. Now we'll see what they do with the roster change that they had today, obviously, which was weird because they took out an Optic with that roster, and then they fell off. So the top 5 that I said: Atlanta, New York, Dallas, Toronto, Optic. That's the order that they have it in, point wise, etc. What would you change as far as the way
I
you
would
see
still,
that?
I mean, for like an actual power ranking standpoint, I think it's an easy tie between Atlanta and Ultra for number 1. Atlanta, to me, Atlanta showed this weekend that they could still be dominant. That maybe the last event was kind of a fluke type thing, or these past few stages, including the last major, was kind of a fluke. But they showed this weekend that they clearly are a very, very dominant team.
Ebbs and flows with the season, like we saw Ultra get hot, and go on that run where they were
but again,
like crazy.
Yeah, but again, to that point, Ultra has stayed consistent. They've shown that they're absolutely dominant.
Then FaZe, I would see FaZe still number 1, obviously, because at the start of the season that they had, they fell off a little bit, but they didn't fall off that much.
Right.
And winning this one this weekend was right back into the hey, we're still here. Don't. And it says a message to the league.
Don't forget about us.
Oh heck, because you're looking at it this way. Think of it in baseball terms, where you can kind of come up and work on trying to catch up with games and stuff like that. Catch up with games, and you're half game behind, you're a full game behind, etc., etc., etc. Eventually, once that lead team starts to falter, come back to you a little bit, you get excited. You're like, yeah, we're gonna get them, and we're close. And then all of a sudden they go, no, just toying with you real quick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think FaZe, Toronto, New York, Chicago, then Dallas. Dallas and Thieves are on my waiver on the 5 and 6 spot with that. So
I don't know what Dallas can actually do at this point, but they've got to be able to play better than they played this weekend, because they looked absolutely atrocious. And I know Dallas is better than that, but they looked absolutely atrocious this weekend. They did not look like even a top 5 team. They looked like a bottom tier team this weekend. They really did. So we'll see what happens.
They haven't looked good since they lost Tuke.
They really haven't. They've looked like they've just progressively gotten worse since then too. But we'll see. I have faith that they'll be able to pull it together. It may be another roster move. Who knows? But
you want to go through your picks?
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
Okay. All right. So, guys. All right. So coming into this week, Sam's record was 17-5 for his picks coming out of the stages going into the major, where we had a bunch more picks, obviously, because it is the major. So first round, you had FaZe beating Dallas Empire, and I believe that was
true. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. I don't have the actual game stats up here. Hold on a second. Let me bring this up here. Schedule. What did you take out of that match? Minus that Dallas sucked.
I mean, that's all that needed to be taken out of that match. They got absolutely dominated, dude. I
hear you.
Absolutely dominated.
Next, you had Mutineers versus the Thieves, and the Mutineers actually took that one, so you blanked on that.
Yeah, LA did not. I still think LA has a lot to figure out with that new roster they have. That's what that one basically showed me. I think this next stage they'll really start to show what they can do with Hook on the roster now.
You had the Gorillas and the Surge. Obviously, the Gorillas took that one pretty easily, and then you had the London going on. We already talked about that one. So for that first round, you were pretty much 3 and 4 for those first game matchups with that. Let's go to let's stay in the losers bracket. You had Gorillas versus Optic, and that was a 3-1 Optic win. You did have them going to that, and then London over Minnesota. Obviously, you said Minnesota, but we are.
That was the big for me. That was the big surprise this weekend.
That was the big upset with that knocking them out.
Yeah, with having. Yeah.
First game too, by the way. Like, oof, you know.
Yeah, I'm like poor Minnesota.
I can see if they caught him in the third round, they caught him with your pants down. But I mean, you came out of the gates knowing who you're gonna play. Like, you know, whatever. I mean, that's that. So, staying in that losers bracket, you had Optic versus Dallas. You had Dallas beating Optic. That did not happen. So,
which I'm glad.
See Dallas. It's always nice when Chicago beats
again.
Dallas.
Again, I thought Dallas was a much better team coming into this weekend. And I honestly did not expect
you really
Optic.
thought they were going to be better because what I've seen, like
they haven't been playing. They've been
wasn't good,
right? But that was the thing. Like I weighed both those factors, right? Like, and we talked about that last podcast. You know, like yes, Dallas was on the downfall, but they weren't that bad yet. Like what I saw like I said, what I saw from Dallas this weekend, I don't even think they could have beaten somebody like fucking LAG or Paris Legion. Like that's how bad they looked this weekend. I know they're a better team than that. Okay, let's just get that straight. For anybody that's a Dallas fan in the chat, I know they're a better team than that, and I think they'll recover from this weekend. But what I saw from them this weekend was one of the worst performances I've seen all year out of any of the teams. So I didn't think they were that bad, and I really was questioning whether or not Optic could really make that fast of a turnaround. I knew Optic was gonna come back. I really did. Like, we've been talking about it all year. Like Optic will come back. They've got to get there. I didn't know it was going to be that fast of a turnaround, right? I thought that if they made a little bit of a turnaround this weekend, you know, it would get them a little bit, but not a lot, right? Like I think I even said I had Dallas winning that game like 3-2, you know. So it's just I really didn't. Like obviously we all know the roster that Optic has. We all have faith in the boys to get everything together. I just didn't expect it to happen like that much all in one weekend, because they looked phenomenal this weekend. Like that's what we've been expecting from them all year. They looked fantastic this weekend.
That is true.
So
that is true.
Again, happy it happened. Happy it happened.
You had Florida over Florida playing Minnesota. Obviously, Minnesota wasn't there. Florida beat. Wait, where am I at here?
Yeah, Florida beat London, right? That's who they should have played, is London.
Wait, what is... This was the third one, right? Did they reseed? No.
Florida came down from the winners.
Colorblind guy misses the color. Yeah, so Florida... why is there Thieves in there? Why was LA Thieves in there?
Because they lost and winners.
Oh, okay, so they played...
Florida's still in winners at this point.
They played, okay, so
right, because I got that pick wrong.
That's wrong too. So that was Thieves. Okay, so
yeah, that whole bracket's fucked London, at this point.
You had your bracket's absolutely destroyed. Actually, you had Thieves coming down in the next round,
right? Because I had them beating Florida.
So they are there, and it actually reseeded there a little bit because you had in that round, obviously you had Dallas versus Atlanta, and then Florida versus LA Thieves. It was actually Florida versus Optic, Ultra versus the Thieves, where Ultra wins that one, and that set up the very good match in round 5 where you had Atlanta and LA Thieves, and you totally did not have that going with that. So Optic heartbreak loss in Game 5, round 11 at the end. It just
Yeah, you
Ultra
know, it
blitzed
was,
them. It blitzed them at the end. you
yeah,
know?
they did. They were patient. Optic really let was it Cammy that came into laundry? I think it was Cammy that came into laundry. They really let Cammy come into laundry undetected, which was just again
That was
it's one of those things that they've obviously gotten better with, because we saw it this weekend, but it was kind of one of those things that we've been seeing a lot of this year of why Optic hasn't been super successful, and it's just the lack of communication. Everybody was looking the same way at that point. They all, like, Ultra came in from their spawn and all of Optic was looking back at Optic spawn, which should never happen. Like, nobody was watching the back laundry way. Like, nobody was watching that way. So that whole team just came rushing in from that way, and it just, you know, it sucks, but
Yep.
you know, they the fact that you took Ultra, who I have tied with FaZe as the #1 team in the league right now, the fact that you took Ultra to a game 5 or map 5 round 11 speaks volumes for the changes that you made over the weekend. So
Huge, and they have to just keep building on that.
yeah, they have to be able to build on that. Have to.
So you had so in the winners bracket we had FaZe over Ultra. You had Ultra winning that matchup, actually moving on to the winners final against Nier. He got half of the winners final right.
Yeah.
With that, Ultra was not it was not there. Obviously, they were down in the losers bracket.
Who did I have New York losing to? FaZe? Or
Ultra.
I had them
You
losing
had
to
Ultra,
Ultra.
not in the winners. You had Ultra all the way through to
Right. Yeah.
the grand final. So you had Atlanta and FaZe. Obviously, Atlanta lost to New York, and then they went down and 3-2 to Ultra again, which was supposedly a good game. I didn't see that one. And then in the end, you had FaZe taking New York pretty handily too, 5-2. By the way, I didn't see the match, but I didn't know. I wasn't paying. After Optic lost, I was kind of like lost interest a little bit because it was.
Yeah, that's you know, and that's kind of the funny thing I've noticed about New York is that they are better from the losers bracket. That, like, Clay and his team, I feel like they're better if they can make a run, right? Like if they have to take those breaks, I feel they lose that momentum, because I mean, which obviously is what happened, because they went on and they beat Ultra. No, who did New York beat? Did they beat who beat FaZe?
They beat Florida, and then New York beat FaZe.
Yeah, so they beat FaZe to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, played them very well, and then they had to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And
winners advantage, and I agree. Yeah,
being
I don't
the
think winners bracket doesn't give an advantage, because so the same thing you just said about New York, could you say that's true about Chicago with what you saw with them in their run? I mean, it wasn't a run. You could say it about Ultra. Look at what Ultra did a couple the last major. Like,
there's some teams that do better for sure that I've noticed when they are in the losers bracket, and they can just continuously win. They're not taking a very long break in between games, like, or even between game days. They're not taking a long break.
Yeah.
So they're able to compete. Jesus, choking on my own spit here.
Nice.
But they're you know, they can keep, you know, they have that consistency, they have that momentum, and it continues to go so fast because you're in the losers bracket and you're constantly having to play, you know. But in the winners bracket, you're having to take these long breaks without playing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting as many matches in. Sure, you're playing harder teams, but you lose all that momentum, right? And that's what I feel like what happens 9 times out of 10. So
Mm-hmm.
playing right. Yeah, exactly, Basky. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So yeah,
you had LA Thieves going on a little bit of a run there. So
I did. I was really expecting them. They looked good. What, stage 3 leading up to this weekend? They looked they looked like, okay, maybe them picking up Hook is exactly what they needed. But you know, I think they still have to play together for a little bit. I think they get it together by this next major for sure. I think we start to see them look a little bit better. Obviously, I think the major questions here are going to be: is Optic for real? Like, can they
Yes.
finally make this a thing? Like, is Optic officially back, or did we just have, you know, one of those weekends where they started to, you know, feel really good and look really good, and then come stage 1 of Major 4, they're back to losing matches they should be winning type thing, you know? So that's going to be the big thing to watch for coming up.
Agree.
So that'll be the big question. I think the other big question, obviously, is Dallas. Is Dallas as bad as they looked this weekend, or are they going to be able to get it together and figure out what the fuck they are without Hook? So I think that's the two biggest questions coming into stage 1 of Major 4. So we'll see where that leads. I think those are the two major questions we will either figure out. I think those are the two major questions we have to know, that we probably will know by the end of, you know, Major 4 at least. If not in stage 1 or 2, at least by the end of Major 4, we will know if Optic's for real and if Dallas really is as bad as they look right now, which I don't think they are.
Yeah, because I really don't.
It's Dallas. I mean, look, like, it's Krim.
Yeah, but again, like,
Shotzi's-
are they going through what Optic was going through a couple weeks ago now? Are we seeing it now?
Which is
like,
not
Toronto
good.
Go through that is you know, but bad time of the year to start having that happen to you.
Because you've only got what, 2 majors left
I think so.
before championship week
Champs.
for champs.
I think so.
Like,
I think so.
no, I completely agree. I really just, with, especially with Krim and Shotzi being the MVP last year, especially with those two on that team, I just don't think they can be that bad. I really don't. I think they've got to figure something out.
They got to work on something. That's the biggest thing.
I don't think. I think Krim is probably one of the greatest players that we've ever seen playing COD. He's definitely one of the most winning. He's not one of the.
Player.
He is the winningest player in COD history at this point. I just don't know. I just don't know if he's got the leadership values to.
He doesn't.
To really carry that team. So.
He's
and everybody else on that team's so young, like they obviously don't have it either. So I think, you know, they've just got to figure that out. So if Dallas keeps Clayster and it's the roster, if it's like the roster they have right now, I think if they would have dropped Illy, kept Hook, if it was Clay, Hook, Shotzi, Krim, I don't even think FaZe is as good as them.
No.
I think that's the best team in the league. If they would have kept that, if that was the roster they would have kept, I think that would have been Dallas would have been Dallas in my mind, like, would have easily back-to-back champs. Anyways, that's enough COD. We don't have the new groups for the next stage yet for the next.
Oh no.
So,
it'll be interesting to see what they can go with though this time around, because you've seen a couple of stages where it's been stacked on each side, but
yeah, so we'll see. Well, definitely it'll be an exciting next stage. Like I said, the two biggest questions for me going in to that next stage is Optic for real? Did they finally figure it out? Or, you know, is Dallas as bad as they looked this past weekend?
is FaZe back on top, and where's Toronto going? Those are the questions.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen anything from Toronto to really make me think that they're on a downfall.
No.
I think they still played great this weekend. They just, you know,
Came against some tough matches, and they lost.
Yeah, like I said, if there was anybody that was going to kick Optic off that momentum that they had, it was going to be Ultra.
No.
I don't think anybody else could have done that.
Nope.
Because that's the thing about Optic too. Most of those guys have played with, like, most of that FaZe team, so I think they could have figured out FaZe and beat them pretty good with that momentum they had. Anyways, moving on. Let's see, what time is it? 7:47. We can talk about the Bad Batch for a little bit. There's not
Bad Batch.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on, guys.
You caught up eventually. You caught up with it. So.
Yes, I am caught up. So obviously, right now, spoilers. If you guys haven't started watching the Bad Batch yet, get out now. If you don't plan on watching it, then you can stay and.
Hey, we'll give you insight onto it.
Yeah. What's your thoughts?
Good so far. Like we were talking about a little bit earlier, it's definitely good. It's showing, the darker side of what the Empire is after the, well, in its very infant stages, of what the grand plan is. You start to see it being politics, obviously, but, it kind of gives more merit to understanding what the Bad Batch is. It's actually showing that they were experimenting on clones to make super soldiers, in a sense. Like they were trying to do that, and they were trying to find the best way to go about that. Now, was that the Caminos or was that the Republic or something like that? I don't know, but we haven't figured that one out yet. But really freaking good. I like the action. I like the storytelling in it so far. Obviously, it's coming from Filoni and that crew, so the animation's spot on, like it should be. It keeps you locked in with that Clone Wars Rebels type thing. But great way to start it off. They continued it on almost exactly from, they kept that same thing that we saw in the last season of the Clone Wars, where they were integrating the Revenge of the Sith, what was going on in that movie, integrated in with this. Obviously, sometimes you can be like, wow, that's a fast timeline because you're thinking about it in the movie. But again, remember, this is, if they go from one scene to another, they may be skipping a certain time period before something else happens in relation to something else that's going on in the universe, so on and so forth. Love the characters. It's interesting to see them. They actually feel more like a part of the universe now, after introducing them properly. Love seeing Kanan Jarrus as a Padawan. That was phenomenal right off the rip, and he was there, and we saw his mentor, which ties into Rebels, and how she's sitting there yelling "run," and that's, you can relate to that in Rebels when he has that talk with the Inquisitor. But you see the moral struggle even within their own team. You have one guy's chip that's working fine and he wants to freaking follow what the inhibitor chip's telling him, and then you have everybody else sitting there being blocked by it somehow right now, and they're like, this ain't right. So really good. You see early stages of the rebellion with Saul Guerrera coming in. That was unexpected. I didn't expect to see his character in there, but that ties into the Clone Wars where he was.
Right, and I mean, it kind of, Saul was such a major part, and obviously, a bunch of the stuff that happened leading up to, like, movies like Rogue One and stuff. Like, we like, before Rogue One, we never really heard about Saul Guerrera, but he was there, right? Like he was
in Clone Wars.
Well, I mean in Clone Wars and stuff like that, but he was never, like, I think this is the pivotal part of his story, so I think he's going to be a big part of this whole.
Well, you kind of see how, and I saw something in relation to this, and somebody was mentioning this, that you can see where, I mean, his sister was killed in the Clone Wars, like, so now he's sitting here defending these people, and he's like, they're coming after us too. Like, they're not coming just after the Jedi, they're coming after us, and this is going to be war. Like, we're not putting up with this. Like, this is not good. This is bad.
Yeah,
like,
this is where, like I said, I think this is where he gets his big name from. Like, I think a big.
Well, you can almost start to see the divergence right away. Like, he's that militaristic wing of the rebellion. Like, we're just gonna fight the shit out of him, and then you're not seeing it. I mean, you kind of saw it with Revenge of the Sith and in some of the Rebels and stuff like that, where it was a political branch of the rebellion trying to form, and they were trying to bring the two together to form a great union, but he was gone. And it shows it in this. He's already lost.
He's full. Just all he thinks about is battle because of everything. It's what the kids say. Yeah, so yeah, I mean I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's a new look into obviously the Star Wars universe. You know, like we talked about, I think you're starting to see kind of where they lost control of the clones, why they don't use clones anymore for the stormtroopers, and a little bit more background into, not all obviously the story behind the Bad Batch, like Verge was talking about. They're defective units, right? Their chips didn't like take, the clones. Yeah. So the way that, if you guys are new to the Star Wars universe, stormtroopers obviously clones. The way the reason the clones were so obedient was because they had basically chips implanted into their brain that made them basically controlled by whoever they
Well, once
wanted
Palpatine
to.
gave the order, that was the
Right.
order to trigger the chip, and that was it.
Click.
He turned, yeah, he gave the order. It made the thing snap.
Yeah, so you had obviously all these clones that originally we thought were good turn evil instantly because of these chips they had previously installed in their brain. And that's why obviously they turned on the Jedi. They're so obedient at this point once they become actual stormtroopers, and obviously the story goes on from there.
I think some of the things too, like if you watch the last season of the Clone Wars, where Ahsoka takes out Rex's chip immediately, like she understands immediately that's going on. You can see like he's almost in a haze when he comes back too. He has no recollection, so it totally shuts off their cognitive functions.
Yeah, it's like they're not.
And they're there, like,
Yeah.
and
It's
you
like
see
it's
what
like
the
having.
bad-
Sorry, not to. It's like, to your point. It's like somebody has multiple personalities almost.
Correct, 100%. Question for you: what do you think Omega's character is?
Honestly, right now I don't know.
She's a Jedi clone. I'm telling you right now, she's a Jedi
That's
clone.
I mean that's my initial thought, and then and this is my thing, right? So this is what brings up everything about like Mandalorian that we've talked about. So this leads into Grogu potentially being a clone from Yoda's
of
DNA.
Yoda.
Right. So that's basically, again, this is what makes Filoni such a phenomenal storyteller. He's already making you question a lot of these things, and he's going to tie it all in eventually. We don't know how long Bad Batch is going to last. How long did Clone Wars last? Was it 6, 7?
7 seasons.
7 seasons, right?
I don't have it off the top of my head.
So we don't know how long Bad Batch is right now. So it may be a long time before we figure out any of this. But again, this is what he does. This is why he's a phenomenal storyteller. He's already brings you kind of like a tie-in to something like The Mandalorian. Like, fuck. So if Omega, so now like Verge said, if Omega's a Jedi clone, like,
or their first attempt at one, because she may not be the ultimate thing. Like, they want her back. Obviously, the Kaminoans want her back. Okay, they want her back for some reason. They said they only needed one, and obviously it's her, because she's probably like, they've guarded her since the start. You can't go here. You can't do this. They're like very protective of her. And she really doesn't have a function. She says she's a medical staff personnel, but she's a kid just kind of bouncing around, in my opinion. My thoughts that you're going to see that she has these, we saw it in the last episode where she starts to commune with the beast. She didn't know she's doing it, but she actually is doing it. She's calming that thing down. So, you're going to see that she has, and there's a lot of people that think that it's like Obi-Wan's like
daughter,
daughter clone, whatever, because but in Clone Wars and stuff, there's been a lot of Jedi that have gone around. But if you look at the picture, the face and the hair color and stuff, yeah. But to your point with the Mandalorian showing Grogu now, it was very interesting in this most latest episode. The cloners are starting to see that the Empire is going to get rid of them. It's because what's the Empire said? Tarkin said it 5 or 6 times already. It's like it's too cost productive. Like, this is a waste of money. He wants to build a Death Star. Like, he has a Death Star to build, so he's like, hey, like, let's.
Well, it's a waste. It's a waste of money because you're constantly pouring money into. Because once somebody dies, it's money to raise another clone. It's not like recruiting when you can just be like, hey, you're in the fucking army now because you're the Empire, right? Like,
well, and that's what they're showing is
so
that
that's what they're getting
taking
at,
a
right?
census with like that one episode where they're giving out numbers or something like that, and
Right. Well, that's what they started tracking everybody with.
well, yeah, because they know, and then that's where they started to do. If you look at in the sequel trilogy, where they were hunting down kids and stuff to make into stormtroopers and stuff. So a lot of stuff tying together. But yeah, I think what's going to happen is they're going to take Omega and what gained and was good with her, and they have Yoda's DNA, like. They're learning how to preserve it a little bit longer. I guarantee your thoughts spot on with that. And I think you're going to see them get out of there in time. We won't know what exactly happens, but I think you see them get wiped out. I think you see that clone facility and stuff. The Empire finally comes and turns on them and attacks them to wipe out all the clones because they don't want them to be a threat. Because what happens if the Kaminoans sit there and say, we're not taking any more of your clones? Well, now you have all these troops around the train. They could sit there and be a war force in a sense.
It's not even that. They could easily turn off the chips in every clone.
That is true too. They have that function, which I think some of that is still going on. I think they're still letting the Bad Batch, like some people in the Bad Batch and stuff like that, function.
Well, yeah, we've seen that. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily know if the bad, like, you know, I think we'll come to find out. Like, I don't think the Bad Batch was actually a bad batch. Like, maybe physically looking wise, but I don't think it's necessarily that their chips didn't work. I think their chips were like never really fully, you know, installed. You know, because we saw it like with Crosshair, like he's the only one. Like, so what if? Like
he was one of the first iterations of the Bad Batch, because he almost looks like the most like a clone if you look at him. Like when you look at his physique, he resembles the closest thing to what a generic clone looks like. You look at the rest of them, they don't have hair. They have, you know, look at Wrecker. He's like a big brute. Like, you know, he's just a great character, by the way.
Great character. Love him. The fact that he has like a little teddy bear and stuff. Great. I mean, that's great, dude.
Here's this big dude that just blows things up, runs through tanks, pushes tanks over the side of a cliff, and then next thing you know, he wants his teddy bear.
Whatever the fuck it is, it's not actually
a Gundar. It's
a
Gundar,
something like that.
I think like that.
So, but like, anyways,
it's a great show. I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot to be unraveled. You can start thinking about 100%. Everything and anything. But
that's what I mean. But to that point that you were talking about, where somebody thinks it's you know, she's a clone of maybe Obi-Wan's DNA, then, you know, if you remember in the prequel trilogy, he was very intrigued by Kamino and what they were doing there at the facility. So again, if you have to think that if they have Yoda's DNA that they're working with,
you know, they have Obi-Wan's.
They 100% have to have Obi-Wan's as well, guaranteed.
Yep.
And
so, do they have Anakin's?
Do they have Anakin's?
Anakin clone? Do you think that's an Anakin clone?
Because blonde hair.
They interacted with
blonde hair. Yeah, I know, blonde hair. Like I said, and Kamino was all before we knew Anakin was evil.
Mm-hmm.
But if Yoda, because you know, there's always been speculation that Yoda knew what Anakin was going to become.
He did. If you watch the Clone Wars,
so did. You know, if he knew what was going to happen, would he have allowed them to have Anakin's DNA? Right. So, but I don't know. Like I said, that's all. We're just giving our fan
afterwards before going into exile. Did he find them and know where they're at? I mean, again, when you look at Yoda's arc in that one season of the Clone Wars,
dude,
he was literally integrating with the Force. Like he learned everything. Like he saw Palpatine becoming. He just didn't know how to prevent it.
Right.
Like that was the thing. He knew that was going to happen. He knew Anakin was going to fall. He tried to do everything he could to sway it, but ultimately, I think his notion was that was the will of the Force.
Right.
So he was like, I can't fight this, because if not, I'm going against the will, and then something even worse could happen. So it makes you think now, why would they introduce Grogu? And here's a baby Yoda. Where did he come from? We don't know anything about his species or anything like that. Now here's a little one running around. Like that is very strong.
Yep.
Just as I mean, that race is. They were very in touch
Yeah.
with it, but I would that theory solid.
Well, there's a lot of people that have their. I mean, obviously, a lot of the books and stuff have kind of, dismantled that theory. But a lot of people theorize that Yoda's race was the first force sensitive race, and that's why Yoda is so powerful with the force. But obviously, we know from books and stuff that that's not actually true. That
No.
but there's a lot of people that obviously always theorize like maybe okay, so maybe Yoda's race wasn't the first, but were they one of the ones? Because the way the story of the Jedi have always been told is that you had the one very force sensitive. You had the very first force sensitive beings and race that kind of passed this ability on to the rest of life, kind of like a godlike ability type thing, like it wasn't.
Well, that's where you get the Mobius arc
Right.
from.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's technically light dark in the middle, like
right.
with the father.
And that's right. That's
Right.
that's when you get the light and dark side theory. Because again, balance of the force, everything has always been yin yang, right? With the original, but then at some point there was that split, and that's when you got light and dark side. So again, like you said, that's where that whole story arc comes into play. So again, we don't know.
A lot to digest. There's a
Yes.
lot. There's
That's- I mean, and
and
that's-
it's that point in the season too. We talked about this with the Mandalorian. There's so many places it can go right now.
So many. So we'll see. But it's a good show. If you haven't checked out Bad Batch yet, if you are here and listening, definitely go check out the Bad Batch because it's well worth it. It's only 3 episodes in right now. Yes, you don't have a lot of information, but if you pay attention to the rest of the Star Wars universe, it's a very good watch. So moving on from there, what else did we have? Oh, yeah, we can talk a little bit about baseball. So last night, there was some controversy in baseball about Manny Machado sliding into the second baseman halfway between first and second base instead of going around him or somehow stopping on a dime and not running into him. So me and Verge, obviously we both we come from a very baseball background. Verge on the medical side and me actually playing it for a number of years, and obviously we both still keep up with it. We're very passionate about it. So a lot of people are putting Machado under scrutiny for this and about how he put the second baseman's at danger and stuff like this, and he needs to be fined, he needs to be suspended. Here's the thing, is baseball 101 as a player, from a player standpoint, and then Verge is going to give his standpoint too. So from a player standpoint, it's like baseball 101. If you're a second baseman and you have to make that play where you have to step in to the base runner's line, if you have to step into that, it is baseball 101 that the runner is going to go down and you're going to hop over him. Sometimes, obviously, like we saw last night, it doesn't always happen that way because you don't have enough time to react, right? Because you're still trying to gather the ball. You're trying to hold on to the ball in the process. You're also trying to think of having to tag the runner and throw the ball first. But again, baseball 101, if the runner's going down like that, it's an immediate out. You don't actually have to tag the man.
He gives himself up.
He gives himself up, which is why he goes down. So you don't have to tag him. So you're thinking about jumping and throwing the ball to first to also get the player at first out so you can get that double play. There's just so much that goes into it. Again, there's so much more to baseball than a lot of people realize, right? But anyways, that's baseball 101. Okay, like it's one of the first things, if you're going to be a second baseman, it's one of the first things you learn, literally. Like, hey, try and field the ball outside of the base runner's like path to second base. But if you can't, just know he's going to go down and you're going to have to jump over him.
How many outs were there?
I don't know. I think there was only there was either none or one.
The only other time in that situation where I would say you would veer off of the path to let him have a clean play is if there's two outs.
If there's two outs,
you're dead.
correct.
You give just give him the throw and do it. I don't know how many outs there were with that.
I like I said, I think there was none or one, because at that point it would have been like inning over. Like all he had to do was tag
Makes
him,
sense.
right? So
And he went for the tag too, so obviously it had to be more than less than 2 outs. So that was a weird place ball, man.
Right.
Like that ball was like in dead man's
super
lane
super
right there.
weird.
Like,
Again, it started out as a weird situation, so it wasn't going to get any better.
no, and Machado, he looked hesitant. Like he looked like he wanted to like kind of crouch down, slide down. Then he went after it a little bit and got like to him. Did he want to disrupt and break up the play? Nah, you can sit there and say.
Right.
My biggest thing is like if you're still go down, get underneath him, but just watch and think about like how you're doing. Like I saw, like the spike come up a little bit and stuff. Again, from the medical
Just
standpoint,
slide.
I understand. Just slide down, both
Literally-
feet in.
yeah,
Like,
you slide-
You're giving yourself up, so you're
Yeah.
out anyway. So why are you gonna disrupt it? I understand why
Yeah.
you're trying to do it, but you got to figure two things can happen there. All right, you hurt yourself going down. Actually, three things. You hurt yourself going down onto the ground because you're awkwardly sliding, trying to figure out what to do to disrupt the play. He could catch that guy could have came through, caught his leg and freaking turned it backwards or something like that, or you could
Right.
have cleated him and freaking turned his knee backwards. You can sit there and look at it in this fashion that you get up underneath him, he comes down hard on you and stuff like that. Both people could get hurt
Right.
with that. Or you're coming over him and you somersault his ass and he freaking falls down. So what is the value of the play versus actually the risk that are involved with it? Again, this is coming from a medical standpoint, and the way I understand the dynamics that you just stated. Totally understand that. And I've seen it. I've seen it run crisp sometimes where that play happens and he jumps over and he does a diving play and kind of tosses it over and he's like in air and stuff like that. I've seen plays where guys get uprooted and get hurt in that situation.
Yeah.
Because of it.
It's one of those weird spots, man. It sucks, but you have to try.
They were
and
talking about suspending him.
people are no. This is so again. This is the internet in uproar of it. You know,
I
this
was
is,
like, why would you
this is-
suspend him for
again.
that?
This is stupid fans being stupid, not understanding the game. This is the internet seeing a clip, not seeing all the context, like just assuming because Manny Machado has been known to do some real shady shit. And this is just again, this is those fans that do not like Machado already, basically, stirring the pot, not having a valid argument. And so that's where all this came from, because anybody else that looks at it knows that this was the right way to go about that play. Like, yes, he could have maybe positioned himself better when he went down, and he could have slid like he was just sliding into a base. He didn't necessarily have to roll, but also in Machado's case, you can also argue that he rolled because he was trying to protect himself as well. So it's just those fans being those fans.
It was the play. See, like you said, it's that ball. Like, I mean, they
Yeah.
were literally, he was running on contact, obviously, because it was a ground ball, and the second baseman's charging in. It's a short infield hit.
Right.
So you're charging. So it literally, the convergence of both of them at the same time was just an awkward situation. See it in real time, because the videos I've seen are slowed down, stupid dumb.
Yeah.
Watch it in real time and you think about how would I react if I was in that situation. Just think, stupid internets.
But that's the thing. So those of you that don't know baseball very well, that little bit of green grass that is behind the pitcher's mound and to the dirt line, basically to where the base runner is running between first and second, and then second and third, that little patch, that's called no man's land for a reason, because nobody knows who the fuck's supposed to go after the ball. It's whoever basically reacts to the ball first. Because in that situation, guess what? The pitcher could have easily gone for it too. First baseman could have come over and tried to get it while the pitcher at second base ran to first base.
First to cover to play.
Right. So it's called no man's land for a fucking reason. Like, that's why, like, it's just, you don't want to be there, right? And it's unfortunate because the second baseman did have the better play on the ball there, because you get the force out at second, and then you can easily toss it over to first for a double play. Again, it wasn't played bad by either team, so it's just the internet being the internet and those fans being those fans. Like the
Machado
ones
almost deked him in a sense. Like, because he looked like he was going to go down. He deked him because he was going to go for a tag, and then he went down under. I don't know why he would try to
because again, it's not necessarily a rule, right? This is, again, we talked about this before. We talked about this with Tatis Jr. celebrating on his home run against what's his face that one time. It's some of those unwritten rules in baseball, right? The unwritten polite thing to do in baseball is for Machado to go to the ground right there, give himself up, automatically become an out, so the second baseman has that opportunity to toss that ball to first and get a double play. That's the unwritten courtesy rule in baseball right there.
He's dead to right. The ball's right
there. Exactly.
So you have no shot. Like, you're going to get tagged out.
Yeah, you're going to get out either way. So again, the unwritten courtesy right thing to do there is for him to go down so that the second baseman can potentially make the play and get the double play.
But what if the second baseman doesn't field it cleanly?
If the second baseman doesn't field it cleanly, then
But if you're going down, you're still giving yourself up in that situation,
well,
right?
and that's what.
In that situation,
no. When you go down, you give yourself up. But that's the thing. That's why you see Machado hesitate there. Because in that split second, you have to think, like, did he make the play on the ball? If he doesn't have control of the ball, I can just keep running. Like, it was
so close. It was so close to happening. He didn't know if it was. Again, I'm on the same side as you.
Yeah, we're making our points.
If he would have just maybe run out of the baseline, like kind of veered off out of the baseline, because second baseman was coming this way, he's coming this way, veer off behind him. But again, he was, in a sense, maybe he couldn't veer off. Maybe that was his only option. He had to go down.
Yeah, because again, and like I said, because obviously, this is what brought it all up. I saw the take earlier, and I retweeted my thoughts on it. You show me somebody that can you stop full sprint on a dime without tearing something in their knee. I want to know what DNA and what that man's made out of, because it's damn near impossible. You see. When you watch NFL combines and stuff, and these guys run for 20 plus extra yards after running their 40-yard dash, they're literally taught to do that.
Deceleration.
You're literally taught to continue to run for deceleration until you fully slow down, because you can't stop on a dime, because you're going to fucking hurt yourself. And that's that thing, right? So that's why you go down in that situation, because you can't stop on a dime.
You don't want to be slowing down before your 40 actually hits. Too.
Well, yeah, exactly. So it's just like, again, it all plays into it. There was, in my mind, Machado played it 100% right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what he did.
There's no problem with it.
Yeah, it was a split-second decision. Yes, it sucks, because you could end up hurting yourself or the other guy, and that sucks. And that's why you see Machado, if you find the clip, that's why you see Machado get up and help the other guy up. He wants to make sure that he didn't fucking hurt the guy, because that would suck in that situation.
Which is good.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those unwritten rules in baseball. Machado was trying to do the right thing. It was a split-second decision that he had to make. Do I go down? Did the second baseman field it correctly? Like, if the second, and that's the thing you have to also think about. Machado's having to sit there and try and see the ball. He's trying to see whether or not the second baseman has a chance. Did he actually field the ball, or did he fumble it and I just missed it as it went by him, type thing, because at that point you got to keep running and get to second. So it's just, it's one of those things. Again, a split-second decision. There's a reason these guys are professional athletes, guys, because they can make decisions a lot faster than we can. We just think we can make those same decisions because we just watch it on a screen, and we think, oh, yeah, that seems easy. It's not how that works. Not how that works.
True.
But yeah, so yeah, there you go, and that's why it's good that we have Verge here as well, because obviously you have my standpoint from playing the sport for so many years, and then Verge has been doing it for so fucking long in the medical field. We have his medical expertise as well.
The brilliance.
The brilliance. Honestly, I think that's pretty much all we have. So we're gonna leave this
Yeah, we didn't
time.
have too much. We didn't have too
Yeah,
much
it
more.
wasn't really an eventful, week this past week. Not a lot happened. Nothing really came out. The Mass Effect Legendary, the remaster came out. It's
Oh, how
phenomenal.
you liking that?
It's great. I mean, they literally. They didn't change anything, obviously. So it's
Quality
not
of
like.
life, like quality of life.
But yeah, it's
improvements
great.
there?
Yeah, I mean, they remastered it to look better because it's considered one of the best RPG trilogies of all time. So they remastered it, and it still holds up to this day. The story's still incredible. The action's still great. It's a fun time. So if you liked playing it originally, I would definitely, because they did a really good job with the remaster. I'm up to 2 already. I'm excited to get to 3 because I really want to see how good that one looks. Because even without the remaster, 3's graphics still held up because it came out back in like I think 2012 is when 3 came out. So it's not like it was still like I think it was still a 360 release, but like the graphics weren't terrible. Like Mass Effect 1 came out in like 2000 or some shit. So those graphics really needed to be updated.
But it's nice to see there, and when you have that game and you played it, and then you see it just freshened up a little bit again. Is it going to be like a PS5 game? No, but it's freshened up to run that, so it's really nice to kind of see.
Yeah, I mean
that.
they're 4K graphics. Are you going to get the same shadow effects and everything that you get out of like a 3080 or a PS5 or an Xbox Series X? Like, no, right?
Are you enjoying?
Oh yeah, of course I am. It's one of my top 5 games of all time.
You were excited to see. You were excited about that coming out.
I played a lot off stream. It's not like, unless you have the right fan base for it, it's not like the most exciting game to watch ever. So I played a lot off stream, but I will continue to play it on stream too.
Enjoy your time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly so. But anyways, we'll give you guys a couple minutes if anybody has any questions in chat. Give you a few minutes here.
By the way, remember Friday.
Yes.
This Friday we kick off our Aspire Team Charity Relay event. 6:00 Eastern time. I will see you on my channel to kick that off, and then we go to Legend right afterwards. Make sure you follow Aspire Gaming NA. We have a fun weekend, about 48 hours almost with it. So I'll see you at the beginning, and I will see you at the end. I will see you in between, sometime early morning on Sunday. I don't know if I'll be a zombie or not. Sam suggested I should do a sleeping stream. I should do a hot tub stream because maybe that'll conjure up some stuff, but not with a charity event, obviously. But yeah, so we're all definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be fun to see how that works out and stuff like that. So yeah, other than that, I'm chilling this week. It's just a chill week this week.
Same. I've been enjoying my single player games recently. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. We have to finish It Takes Two, but we will get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that sometime this week for sure.
We're almost done it from what people were saying.
Yes.
So
yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close, so that's good.
Culmination. So we know when we have the free time to sit down and actually just bust through it, we'll be good to go with that. But other than that, yeah, I'll be doing my thing. You know what I'll be doing. So
yeah, exactly. So
chat. Anybody? What are you doing? You guys haven't said a word in like an hour. Did we bore you and put you to sleep?
Probably. It's fun. That'll happen sometimes.
It's okay.
And always talking about the fun topics, guys. Okay.
It's our deep radio voices, Sam. They're just like
just
we
putting
can't
them to
handle
sleep.
all this like ASMR stuff. Like rub your ears, close your eyes. Good night.
All right. Well, if nobody's got any questions,
hey, you're lost, chat.
Yeah, that's fine. You hate us, we get it.
It's fine. We're good.
It's fine. It's fine. We have each other, Verge. That's all that matters.
We do, and that is what we do. We do have to find, after we get done It Takes Two, we do need to find another. After I get into the Destiny season a little bit more, we do have to find a 2-player game to do. I know I've sent a couple your way that we can potentially
we'll find something for sure.
But if you see one on your radar, or if anybody else watching or listening that isn't responding has a suggestion that they would love to see me and Sam play, we're always down for it.
Definitely. All right. Well, if no one's got anything, we appreciate it tonight, guys. Everybody that showed up, the new followers. Beth, thank you for following. Call Sandy, really appreciate the follow. Everybody that showed up tonight, thank you guys as usual. You know, we love you guys. We love you as we continue this journey. Next episode will be uploaded on YouTube very shortly. If you guys have not followed us on YouTube yet, hit that link below. Go follow us on YouTube as we grow that channel as well. But this episode will be on in the next 24 hours. It'll be up on YouTube. Other than that, I got nothing, man. Verge, any exit arguments?
You know, I'm just really excited to get my super dupe amped 5G. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, man, let me tell you, it boosted up like 5 bars on there. So the chip is working.
Chip is working. You still gotta get the second one though. So the 2 chips is what really makes it 5G.
Oh, so I'm only
you're only getting like
right
you're getting like 2G right now. The next one.
2G.
Next one, since it's a more powerful, it's got that too. And then 3 and 2. I don't know if you knew that or not, but you add those together, it's 5. So it'll be 5G.
Listen, I'm colorblind, but I'm not like freaking stupid, you know. Speaking of which, you should tweet that out and be like, look at Verge's horrible artwork, just so people see what I see, like, and see what you see, like, just having that conversation.
Oh no, that's definitely. I've already thought that up, so I'm glad you said that.
See, so. I'm sure you did. I give you full permission and rights to do so.
Okay,
I understand that.
Good.
So.
All right, fantastic.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, always, guys. We appreciate you guys. We will see you guys next Monday, and again, don't forget Friday. Kicking it off in Verge's stream with the Aspire charity event. Other than that, y'all have a good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you're from. We will see you guys next Monday. Peace. I can't find my mouse. Peace.
It's over there. I'm just gonna hold
it. I got it. Okay. Yeah. That's fine.